4. The moment your baby fusses or protests inside these 5 minutes, and you choose to respond instead of redirect. The attachment research of John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, the foundation of modern developmental psychology, found that babies whose small protests are met with warmth and responsiveness in the first year tend to develop what is called secure attachment, one of the strongest known predictors of stable relationships and emotional resilience decades later. One small protest met one time with patience is nothing on its own. What matters is the pattern, the thousands of these tiny moments stacking up over months. If this is the kind of thing that's landing for you, this is exactly what we dig into every week here, so it might be worth sticking around for it. You are not spoiling your baby by responding gently inside this window. You are teaching their nervous system that when they reach out, someone comes. 5. The quality of your touch during these 5 minutes. Researchers at the University of Miami's Touch Research Institute have documented that gentle, consistent touch accelerates the development of the myelin sheath, the coating around nerve fibers that determines how efficiently a brain sends signals. There is also something called physiological co-regulation. When you hold your baby, their heart rate and breathing begin to sync with yours. For 5 minutes, your calm body is quite literally lending your baby a nervous system steadier than the one they are still building. That is not a small thing. That is the closest thing to magic that ordinary love can do. 6. The tone your voice carries even when you're tired during these 5 minutes. Your baby cannot understand your words yet, but neuroimaging studies have shown that infants as young as 4 months already read the acoustic shape of a voice, and a sharp or strained tone activates the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, even when the words themselves are neutral. The reverse is just as true. Taking a slow breath before you start these 5 minutes changes what your baby's brain receives the moment you speak. A softened voice for 5 minutes is one of the most protective gifts you can hand a growing brain, and it costs you nothing but a breath. 7. The face you make when something startles your baby during these 5 minutes. Around 9 months, babies develop a skill researchers call social referencing. A noise startles them, or a toy slips and falls, and before they decide how to feel about it, they look straight at your face for the answer. This is one of the most consistent findings in infant research. Your expression is quite literally the data your baby uses to interpret what just happened. A startled, anxious face tells their brain something went wrong. A calm, steady one tells them the same thing happened, but it is okay, and they are still safe. Across these 5 minutes, again and again, your baby is learning to borrow your calm until they can grow their own. 8. The silence you allow inside these 5 minutes. It feels unnatural to just sit there without filling every second with words or movement, but pediatric researchers studying parent-child interaction have found that pausing and waiting after you say or do something gives your baby's still developing brain the time it actually needs to process and respond. What looks like nothing happening is in fact processing time your baby's brain depends on. A few seconds of quiet from you is not a gap in connection, it is part of it. 9. What you do the instant these 5 minutes are interrupted. The phone buzzes. Someone calls your name from another room. Life rarely allows 5 clean, uninterrupted minutes. Dr. Edward Tronick's research on caregiver-infant interaction found that babies are remarkably resilient to brief ruptures in attention as long as repair follows. A quick return of your eyes and your warmth after a distraction is enough to repair the moment completely. You do not need these 5 minutes to be perfect. You only need to come back. That single act of returning again and again is itself one of the things your baby's brain is quietly learning to count on. 10. And this one is the quiet heart of the whole list. The last few seconds before these 5 minutes end. How you close them matters more than how you opened them. Sleep researchers and developmental scientists, including work cited by the National Scientific Council on the Developing Child, have found that the final emotional input before separation or sleep gets processed and stored with unusual depth. So when these 5 minutes are ending, do not just stand up and walk away. Slow down. A last look. A last touch. A few unhurried seconds before you turn back to the rest of your day. That closing moment is what your baby carries with them into whatever comes next. The nap, the car seat, the handoff to someone else. You are not just filling 5 minutes. You are leaving something behind in your baby that lasts long after the 5 minutes are over. A quiet, wordless proof that the world is good and that they are loved without having to earn it. So tonight or tomorrow morning, when you have 5 minutes that feel like nothing, like just another ordinary stretch of time, remember that it is not nothing, it is everything, in disguise. If this changed the way you think about those small 5-minute stretches, hit subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of thing we explore every week. And tell me in the comments, what does your baby do during your 5 minutes together that always gets you, the thing that makes you stop and just watch them?